Fort Stanton is just down the road from Lincoln, New Mexico. It was established in 1855 as an outpost in order to protect the settlers who were moving west. Fort Stanton has had many jobs. It later on became a convalescent hospital, a marine hospital, an internment camp, a hospital for the mentally challenged, a drug rehabilitation center. But every mission that was given to the people at Fort Stanton, they served with honor, did their best, and we are proud to have this wonderful place preserved for us to learn its history. As you approach Fort Stanton from Lincoln, you're going to first drive by the stables and corrals, and they have been here since 1855. The first ones were made out of lumber and burned, and they were replaced with the stone corrals that you can see today.
The history of the fort. This is from when the fort was built to present time. And then for y'all to go out and see the fort, you're in building 1. Go out the door right there. Number 2 is the old barracks building. First building, come to on the right.
Okay.
All your open buildings except 1 are going to be out on Parade Ground Square. Number 21, you passed it back there on the first corner. That is the museum for the German POWs.
Oh, really?
To make it easy, other than number 15, the green ones are the open buildings. They'll be open out there until 4:30 until they start locking up. And you were headed towards our museum, a lot of information back there. Then we have a cave exhibit in the corner. And then we have a little 10-minute video that covers about 165 years of local history.
We're going to the Quartermaster Barracks, and there's an exhibit in here. So this is a barrack. Right here is an old flag with how many stars? Let's see. 31 star flag. So that was in the early days in 1850. 31 star flag. Right now we're walking through the barracks. Table here where people were playing cards. And so the sergeant who's in charge of this barracks had his own room. Pretty nice, spacious room right here. Once again, I'm walking through the barracks, so you have a lot of bunks that we're looking at. Okay, if we look over here, we've got canteens, we've got some other equipment and things that they carried. And you can see their guns or rifles, right? Yeah, if I zoom in, you can see right up here this detail that's got a rod. So I'm assuming you'd put some powder in the top there. This is where you're going to get your supplies. There's everything from shovels to brooms, uniforms. All kinds of uniforms. You can see that they have things very sorted very well so that you can locate them easily. There's fabric right here. some other things back there. Big old door back here. Good delivery door, I guess. Some barrels. Instead of shipping things in boxes, a lot of times they would ship in barrels. They put a lot of straw in it. So these are reusable barrels, and usually they're going to be watertight. So they were a good thing to put on a freight wagon. They even had coffins here. This is the hospital building, but let's go see what's inside. Tuberculosis was known as the White Plague, and it affected people all over the world. Because of the kind of air we had, it was a drier air. It was believed that it was better for people who had tuberculosis to be able to recover. This was also a Marine hospital. I always wondered when we drove by that cemetery, how come Coast Guard and Marine people were in New Mexico? Well, now we know it was because they came here to rehabilitate, and some of them died here. This is such a large facility. You can see all kinds of different buildings. The commanding officer's quarters is still there, and it hasn't really changed much over the years. Community house was built in the early 30s. It was for the medical staff and their families to use. It is now used as the German Internment Museum. In 1939, the German crew of the SS Columbus scuttled their ship rather than surrender to the British. The crew members were rescued by the U.S. Navy and eventually ended up interred at Fort Stanton for the duration of World War II. The internment camp at Fort Stanton was the very first of its kind in the United States. The German internees built a camp that included gardens for fresh produce, a gymnasium, and a recreation hall, and also a swimming pool, in which many Olympic competitions were held with the local population. The U.S. Border Patrol was put in charge of guarding these prisoners. Eventually, the Border Patrol's mission was expanded, and Fort Stanton became a Border Patrol center or headquarters. During the last months of World War II, Fort Stanton served as an isolation unit for a small group of Japanese internees who had formerly been held at the internment camp in Santa Fe. When you leave Fort Stanton and head back to Ruidoso, you're going to drive by a veterans cemetery. And this veterans cemetery was built in order to accommodate a lot of the soldiers and Marines who died at the hospital at Fort Stanton. They've built a new visitor center. It is a veterans cemetery. It is located on a nearby hill that overlooks Fort Stanton. It's very beautiful and very peaceful out there. Another interesting feature, and we didn't get to see it today, but there are over 30 miles of cave system that goes underneath Fort Stanton. It is managed by the Bureau of Land Management, and it is open occasionally to the public, not always, so you need to check. I really enjoyed our visit to Fort Stanton. So much to learn, so much history to take in. Take the time, go there in person.